listen to James 3 and verse 14. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your heart, do not be arrogant and so lie against the truth. This wisdom is not which comes from down from above, but is earthly, natural, demonic. Wow, that's pretty strong. It's earthly. Why is it earthly? Well, you're listening to the earth. You're listening to the people on the earth. You're listening to your friends. And then it's natural. You're listening to your own mind, and it's demonic because demons or Satanists are filling in the gaps. Why do we have to fill in the gaps? Well, let me ask you something. You say you can make decisions on your own? And knowledge, if wisdom, making decisions requires wisdom, and wisdom is based upon knowledge, largely, how much knowledge do you have? How much do you really know about the past? Even if you're a history buff. How much do you really know? Well, not much. How much do you know about the present? Only what's going on in this room. And some of you really don't have a clue about that yet either, so you're still kind of, I don't know. And you know nothing about the future. And so if you don't know much about the past, very little about the present, nothing about the future, how are you going to make decisions? Well, you make decisions by filling in the gaps. And you fill in the gaps by getting ideas from other people. You fill in the gaps by your own imagination, your dreams, your imagination. That's why the Bible says casting down imagination, bringing into captivity every thought into the obedience of Christ. Then it also is demonic. Demons are putting stories in your mind. Satanic stories that maybe, they don't seem bad. It's not that it's always lustful thoughts and greedy thoughts. It's just filling in all the gaps, the rest of the gaps, in order for you to make the wrong decision, the wrong choice. And naturally speaking, we're going to make the wrong choice most of the time anyway. There's a psychologist, one guy talks about this, brought my attention to this psychologist, Jerome Kagan. He's a child psychologist, and he came up with this theory that we respond to danger in three different ways. All of us are kind of in one of these three boats. He calls the first group anxious. I would call them rabbits because they run when faced with adversity. Something happens, they just run. I know pastors, man, as soon as something happens, in their life, man, they're out the door. They run. They run to the next church. You know guys that will leave the house. They just get in their car and ride off rather than face any kind of problem in the home. They're runners. Now, sometimes it's good to run. Sometimes it's not. Then you have the bulldog or the attack dog. Man, I'm not running from my problems. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to move. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to attack the problem. I'm going to solve the problem. Then you have the philosopher or the wise old owl. And they seem to be the wisest ones. They just sit there and say, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to contemplate the issue, contemplate the problem. And we think, well, isn't that the best way to go? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. For example, if you wake up in your lazy boy chair, if you're watching a football game from yesterday, and your house is on fire, and there's smoke and there's fire all across the ceiling, what should you do? Somebody tell me. Run. Yeah, you need to be a rabbit at that point. Now, if you're an attack dog, I'm not running. This is my home. Man, I'm going to get in there and fight this fire. I'm going to be the fire, I'm going to do it. Or the philosopher, you sit there, wake up and say, I'm going to see how this kind of plays out a little bit. Oh, no, you run. Well, what if you wake up and you look up on the stove and there's a fire coming from your frying pan? Now, we don't fry foods, I guess, anymore, but we'll just say suppose so. And there's fire coming up. Well, what happens if you run? Maybe the whole house burns down. No, you need to be the attack dog. You need to get that fire extinguisher out. Throw that pan in the sink and make the smoke go everywhere as you pour water on it. Yeah, it's happened to me before. Yeah, thank you very much. But what if you say, well, I'm just going to sort of wait and see if this gets in the walls. See what happens. No, that's the wrong decision. But what if, you wouldn't know about this because you live in Florida, but I once lived in North Georgia, and we had a real fireplace with real wood. Yeah, really. I know. We burned wood. But anyway, I get that thing a-blazing. You know what I'm saying? Hot. It's cold outside. I get it just a-blazing. And we were newlyweds, and we never had a fireplace before, and Pam would say, well, look at the sparks coming from that, don't you think that maybe we ought to, I said, yeah, I'll put this guard thing up, I can't remember what you call it, it's been so long ago, and so I put that up, and now we could have said, yeah, boy, the fire's really big, man, it's really hot, let's run. No, that's the wrong decision. And what if sparks did fly out? The house would burn down. What if we said, no, it's the attack dog, man, I'm going to get the hose out, and spray it and put the fire out? No, you just sort of say, well, we'll watch it. Let's just take a wait and see attitude. Now, the point is, his point, 2 out of 3 times you're going to make the wrong decision. Even if you don't fill in the gaps, if you don't take it spiritually. And decisions are what? Basically, what develop you. Decisions determine what you do, where you go, and who you become.